Accept your death.
So we're mixing things up a little bit this week. People may or may not know, earlier this week, Hader got an opportunity to be on The Price is Right. And he was 100% the contestant who said, what was that last bid? $56. Okay, $56.01. And won himself an all-expenses-paid trip to Union City, Tennessee. And being from Southern California, Sacramento, he's not too comfortable around beaches. So I kind of had to coax him and tell him kind of what beach life was all about and that kind of thing. So he's out there sipping Mai Tais on the beach out in Tennessee. So we have a guest host this week, someone who is no stranger to the channel, big advertising professional, moderator in the chat, always hanging out in the Bonehawk Discord. And that is Blue Raz Rush. Welcome, Blue.
Yeah, thanks. I finally get to be on the podcast. I finally get to check out the studio in which you record. We're totally in a studio together.
Totally.
You could have cleaned up a little. There's peanut butter everywhere, dude. There's peanut butter on the table. You're wearing a shirt right now that says "Little Butter Hog," and I'm not comfortable, but I'm glad to be here.
There are stories behind all the peanut butter, let me tell you, but we're not going to get into them today. Who knows? Demonetized. So me and Blue were playing yesterday, and if you've listened to the podcast, you know that we are not friendly to Darius around these parts, and Blue is like a Darius main. And playing some matches, he hits me with this move, and I'm like, what? That has armor? And you get physically upset. You're like, yes, that has armor. How do you not know this? And you hate on Darius so much. Hader said the same thing. And it was just such a funny moment to me, because yeah, you're totally right. I had no idea he had an armored move. Is that it's a single hit or something, right?
Yeah, it's just off the uppercut after the roundhouse call in, so it's right before like the assisted spin kicks, the meter stealing kick.
You think I would have labbed it after I found out that he had that, but I still didn't.
You won't. No one else is playing him. You might find the odd Darius every now and then, but like I swear by him as a cameo. I honestly do. I think he's too underused for people to actually have him on their radar.
I mean, you could be right. You could be right.
The most you're going to see him with is like Reiko for the most part, because of how solid he was with the spin kick. But even then, like Tremor kind of pushed him out of the way there. Tremor took over as the better cameo for Reiko, and there's another character has confirms off of that ground pound. I can't think of who it is off the top of my head.
We won't get too into that quite yet. Let's get into our comments first, and then because I want to go into this update. There's some stuff that happened. It wasn't a huge update, but definitely shook the meta a little bit. So starting here with Kmart Punk 95, another great podcast, fellas. Question regarding armored wake up moves: are they lacking in this game to you? Do we need more like MKX? I play Havoc, and his only armored wake-up is very situational. Really hurts him, in my opinion. And for me, I think like wake-up options are good, but MK11 kind of showed us why too many is not great. And I honestly think they did a good job of balancing that in MK1. MKX was pretty crazy. We had like armored launchers that you could do, and then they dialed those back. But I think there's some characters that like, if you want to armor, you can turn them like into like that's the armor character, aka Kung Lao, because it's safe. Yeah, if you want to be armoring things, that's the character that you're picking. And I like how they kind of went that route. Havoc, situational armor, but he can do other things poorly as well. So there are reasons to pick different characters based on that. Blue, you play sub. You've been playing a little bit of Quan. I'm curious to get your take and your experience. How's Skydrop been working out for you?
Well, it's immediately better than MKX, but
that's a low bar.
It's a really low bar. There's some tracking though that is a little funky sometimes. Like the tracking for his wake up kind of feels like the same tracking for like standing 4 or the down forward 4, whatever it is. Like the slightest movement might put the person out of reach. But it doesn't feel like the person moves too far. It feels like if they move a little bit, his skydrop makes him land a lot farther behind them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that, but it seems like it messes with his movement. I
Yeah.
also have like a kind of a point on Havoc too, but like yeah, Quan Chi right now, but like yeah, no, his sky drop is better, but it could use a little more work, I think.
I don't really know what you would do to it to kind of like it has decent aerial hitbox, which is what it was obviously missing in MKX. It does okay damage and some setups. I mean, outside of making it safer, which I think is kind of unnecessary, I'm not really sure what you would do to it to kind of make it better at this point.
I think just tighten up what it is that makes him move a little too far. There's something in there that makes him move farther back because he lands right on the opponent. If they throw like a forward advancing move, they only move about an inch. I noticed it a lot fighting Ashra and a little bit fighting Sindel. Like I had issues punishing a hair flip with it sometimes. He'd land
Right.
behind them after she did the hair flip. Like
Yeah, I
she
remember
moves
that.
back to her neutral position.
And you
So
just
why would he move behind her?
that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe it's trying to like maybe it's over tracking or something, going the wrong way. I
Yeah,
have
it's just something about the movement. I think the hits are fine, like the armor to it is fine. I think how punishable it is fine. It should be punishable. Otherwise it's a getaway, get out of jail free card. But that tracking is a little funny in its own little way.
I want to get that thought from Havoc on you while it's fresh before you lose it. Is it related to the armor kind of thing, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and it might be a hot take, but I think Havoc deserves 2 armor moves.
What would you make his second armored move?
His torso spin. It's punishable. It's death on block. It is absolutely death on block. It does not have great startup, so you could potentially punish him out of it. I don't think it would hurt him too bad to have a second armored move when arm rip is so slow that if he wants to wake up with it, if you dial in a string, you still have time to block a completely dialed in string.
You have just befriended every Havoc player in the comments section. There's going to be so many comments saying "blue for president." Like get this guy in there.
I play him too here and there, like very little. Like I only started really picking him up before I started picking up Quan, but like I don't think it'd hurt him too bad. Uh,
No, that's fair.
maybe it'd be a little rough considering technically it'd be another armored launcher with characters like Farah or whatever because it puts him in like an airborne state or something.
Oh, right.
But I mean, had they done that before, had they done it before they added Farah, it would have been fine.
So that would have been the deciding factor for Havoc. Like Havoc is the character to play if you want more armor. Like not just the armor, but more armor. Different possibilities that could be open up a completely different way to play him. I feel like they would probably have to have the torso spin like splat or something just to avoid, because having 2 armored moves with one being a launcher might be a little bit too much.
Well, I mean that's just it does splat if you finish it. Because it just knocks them on their ass if you finish it. But Farah allows you to do the overhead swing or whatever from an airborne state, and I guess his torso spin is technically an airborne state or something. I don't know. I've seen them cancel into it.
That's funky. That is so. I haven't seen that, but that is funky.
I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that you can cancel like into the aerial overhead off of torso spin because I had a buddy that started playing her after I told him that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm dumb and like not remembering
misinformation.
it correctly. But I mean, it's what I do. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I know Farah was doing a lot more for him off of that. I don't know. It made it less death on block.
It's funny because like most of the time when I see that move, it's Shujinkydink doing it. Because whenever I play Havoc, that's like my strategy is just to do whatever on block into torso spin because +4 and does crazy chip. And I think when Shujinkydink does it, it pushes him away. It's like a knockback animation.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason for Havoc to do it other than some combo damage. Ending a combo. If you block it, it's over. If you block it, GG. That's a full combo punish.
Yeah, not even hard.
And even arm rip is, blocking arm rip kind of leaves him a bit safer, but at the same time, they have to not break the armor. If it hits them, it's a ton of damage.
Sure.
If they block it, it's a hefty chunk of change and chip damage.
I feel like that move is
still inconsistent.
I feel like that move is better to like take advantage of gaps and stuff, than it is like using it on wake up. I feel just from
Yeah,
my
but
experience.
even still though, like if it's a string that somebody can just cancel out of, then they're fine.
That's true.
Which it can catch Sub-Zero out of an ice clone from time to time,
Oh, that's interesting.
but I'm pretty sure I've been slapped in the head trying to ice clone out of something. But like, if your character can kind of just stop their string, then whatever, they'll block it.
Yeah.
If you have a character that has to overcommit to strings, I don't know who has to do that in MK1. I know if we were talking MK11, Aaron Black had to overcommit to like 2-1-2-1-2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I
But
think Katana has like a few dial-in strings, but don't even know if they would be slow enough to get caught by that.
maybe Sub-Zero's forward 1-2 might be slow enough that he could do something about it. But if a character has to over dedicate to a string, then yeah, they're getting hit. Otherwise, 1 to 2 buttons and then hold block, or if you can shimmy and then blow him up for it. What's he gonna do? All he can do at that point is, I mean, if you're playing Darius, call in Darius.
Always back to
Trust
Darius
round-
on this damn
Yeah,
podcast, I tell you.
Trusted roundhouse kick.
Tru-
You block the arm swing, then call in Darius, roundhouse kick into uppercut. There's another hit of armor for you.
All right, so let's carry on because I'm pretty sure we could talk about Darius and Havoc all day.
Yeah.
And you would.
I would. I absolutely would.
So moving on to Gob 1996 says, regarding Noob in his hand, it looks like it might be Bihan's right hand being used as some type of amulet to give him his chaos powers. If you look at his right hand, it's just replaced with the black goo. It may be that. I'm excited for the story. I'm expecting Noob to have some sort of redemption arc. In the reveal trailer for the DLC, he's on Havoc's testing table. He looks terrified of what's about to happen, so we'll see how it turns out. Can't believe it's only a month away. The real question is, how bad is this update going to be in regards to bugs?
Oh God!
And that right there was kind of what I wanted to highlight, because we have these small, insignificant little patches. Sometimes they're significant, but every time there's something wrong with the game, whether it's a balance issue or a bug issue or a disconnect issue, this is going to be a massive update. How many bugs do you think we're going to see on this particular one?
Are we getting all the characters in one go? Did they announce that? It's not all the characters in one. They'll be dolled out, right?
The 3 Mortal Kombat ones are all coming at the same time. They'll all be available, and then the guest characters are coming down the road. So,
oh God!
And that's not even like if they add anything else. Like, my hopeful mind is hoping that they throw in like finally what the Warrior Shrine is and some online practice and like rooms, you know, like here's year 2. Okay, we're starting off strong. Here's all these features. But I doubt that they would work properly.
Rooms.
Yeah, that's like a
rooms.
staple. It's like a staple of fighting games. Like, why do you not have that? I mean, we've bitched about this so many times.
Yeah, we've not had a single community event since this game came out. It's a year in, and we've not had a single community event.
That makes me so sad. I had this big plan for the Bone Dome event and all this kind of stuff, and like I was just waiting for rooms because I was talking to Mr. Aquaman, and he was saying that online events are not the easiest to run without that. You got all these WB IDs, and you have to add people as friends, I'm pretty sure, in order to play them. You can't just invite them to a game. It's really frustrating.
We had issues holding an Injustice 1 tournament, and I think it would still be easier to do that than
oh yeah,
an MK1 tournament.
That tournament took forever. My goodness, I forgot about the olden days where there was no like AFK mode. You had to beat somebody up every single time to stream the matches. Man, dark times. Dark times indeed.
So, on the subject of bugs, a hopeful mind would say it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But we've had issues with just about each new release. Because like it wasn't around Quan Chi dropping is when we started having weird disconnect issues.
Yeah, the desync bug. Yep, exactly. And it took them like a month and a half to fix that.
Was that a thing before? Did we not notice it until Quan Chi, or did it come around with Quan Chi?
I think it came out with Quan Chi, with in or around either Quan Chi or Tremor, one of the two. I'm pretty sure it was Quan though, and yeah, it took forever for them to fix. And then it still didn't. It still hasn't gone away. I mean, I still get the odd. It's very, very rare now. Don't get me wrong, but it hasn't gone away completely. It still happens from time to time.
Okay, so we got that off one character. I don't know if anything came with Peacemaker aside from just him being really strong on release.
I think that was unintended on its own, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Takeda's release has been fine. Farah's been chaotic, but Takeda himself has been fine, mostly because he's bad.
Well,
They're
yeah.
lacking. I don't want to say bad, but lacking.
Lacking's a good term. I feel like that whole update was kind of rough with Farah because there was like 4 or 5 things that changed with her, like right off the bat. Like her throw advantage was plus 18, which was like far and away higher than any other character, and then they ended up like hotfixing it down to plus 8, which I'm thinking it probably was supposed to be originally, and then somebody just like fat fingered the keyboard or something, and then it went it went up to 18 from 8. And I think the same thing maybe happened with her health, where like someone fat fingered the keyboard and put 150 instead of 50, and then they're just like scrambling like, well, which one do we fix first? And so they went with the throw, and then they fixed the health afterwards. That's my crazy little tinfoil hat theory, but
I think the health felt necessary. Not necessary. I think that intentional is where I'm looking for. I'm almost positive the health was intentional, and then they saw all the like the people picking Farah but not even really using Farah.
yeah,
you know,
general Shao players that just pick her for like
Shao
the
were
fuck
like
you
crazy
amount of
with it.
health, like craziness, man.
Because he's already solid, and once he drops the axe, he doesn't like. Yeah, sure, he loses out to zoning, but once he drops the axe, man, here comes Mix. Here comes pretty safe Mix.
Yep.
Why does he need to throw the gremlin at you? He doesn't.
Mix on
He
mix
just,
on
it's
mix.
party time.
Party time, exactly, man. It's
It's party time, and he's the healthiest man there. He's been drinking kombucha. He drank his Metamucil. He's feeling good, and you're not because he's punching you in the jaw, and you can't do anything about it.
and he hits like a truck too. Like 2 combos, you're dead pretty much. Like a
Oh.
combo into mix, into guess again, bro, into you're dead.
And then it doesn't even matter if you're a Quan player.
No,
It's gonna hurt.
unless you're a general Shao with Farah player. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Havoc with Farah. We'll
Oh, yeah,
Havoc
Havoc
with
with
Farah too. He's got stupid health too. He needs it.
He does. I don't feel like those are fair comparisons, to be honest. But
No. But like honestly, like Quan Chi and Homelander, I think are the 2 biggest issues we've had with bugs on DLC release. Like when the game came out, it was already buggy.
oh
Like
yeah,
the game itself was an issue, and then they started working really hard to fix it. They did really good to fix it. And then Quan Chi happened, another problem happened. But Homelander is a bit. Most of his stuff was like animation issues. They didn't have a character. Yeah, camera issues. They didn't have a character with flight or anything. I kind of wondered. So he had the kick infinite or whatever. I think some frame data may have just gotten away from them there, but they were pretty. It was a pretty quick fix, yeah. Like I don't think they did internets or anything, did they? Or did they? I don't.
compared to other how long it take them to fix other things, I would say it was quick, but I wouldn't really have called it quick. It felt like forever when you can't even play the game without going online getting infinited. Like that feels like forever.
True. He was probably the worst as far as bugs went, though, and that's pretty well done and over with. I don't think there's camera issues anymore. I'm pretty sure they fixed most of it. Maybe something.
I've seen the odd one here and there on Twitter, little clips, but nothing huge or nothing game breaking. So we'll see what kind of bugs come with this next update. It's going to be a big one.
I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna try and be optimistic about it. It is 3 characters dropping at once, but
yeah,
they worked out the other stuff. Maybe they'll work this out before it happens.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let's move on in this abusive relationship with MK1. Come on.
Only
now.
metaphorical fires, no real fires. It's fine. You can still enjoy the game.
Thank you for that comment. Appreciate it. Thank you everyone for the comments, by the way. It's always hard to choose which ones to try not to repeat too many commenters, but you guys ask good questions, so I gotta put them on here. Like Shinfits here. Got them again. I think they were going for different matchups with cameos. For example, if you lose to a zoner, you can switch to the Sub-Zero cameo. That makes sense. I'm surprised you guys didn't talk about the Ed Boon poll about possible Season 2 cameos. Kid Thunder, Invincible, Blanche, and Chucky. You're right. We completely forgot about that. And let's do that now, because that is a fantastic transition into that, because I forgot completely about that, and I went back and I read the thread. There are some people that were absolutely unhinged with what they were asking for, but
that's how his comments always are, though.
100%. I was kind of surprised to see like a completely different KP2 in general. Like, I kind of thought that, like, KP2 would kind of piggyback off of KP1, like, have, like, Invincible and Butcher and that kind of a thing. So completely did not go the direction I thought it was going to go. That looks like a MK11 DLC pack to me. But as far as the cameos go, they didn't even mention any cameos. So I want to get your thoughts first here, Blue, on let's start character by character here. So Kid Thunder, like, what would that cameo even do? Like, we've seen him dance in MK11. He kind of just shows up in MK2.
Yeah, but he did. He absolutely just showed up in MK2.
Just showed up.
They couldn't give us a AAA cinematography out of that. But in MK11, I think both he and Raiden shot lightning, didn't they?
I think they did at the end of their little dance.
Or did Raiden just do the lightning? I think they both did.
I just saw that.
Okay.
I just saw that.
So,
Babe Ballot. Friendship is what it was.
So Kid Thunder comes in, the EDM beats pop up. It's electronic dance music. They're throwing it down, right? Okay, so let's incorporate that into Kid Thunder. Let's give him. Raiden doesn't have the orbs. He doesn't have the electric orbs for setups.
Oh, the Master of Storm stuff.
Yeah, let's give him Master of Storm stuff. But when he throws it out, we hear like a bass drop.
That would be hilarious.
He comes in and he hits some crazy ass dance move and puts an orb out like at his hand or something, and then vanishes. There's a bass drop every time he does it. He comes in. One of his moves, he does the Booker T Spitteroonie. You know, kind of like Tanya, just starts spinning around. It's a launcher. It's
a launcher.
It's an armored launcher. Let's get stupid.
It's an armored launcher. Okay, that would be stupid. That would be stupid.
Yeah, buddy. I can't imagine what he'd really do, but incorporating that goofiness into it would be fun.
That would be.
I mean, also you'd have to punch a kid if you're trying to get the cameo off the screen.
I mean, that's true.
I don't know if they'll let us just overhead a kid with Sub-Zero's skull flail.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. This was Boone's poll. It wasn't like anyone like created this character for him to talk on. He created it. He willed it into the universe. I would be daring to say.
Ed Boon wants us to hit kids. There it is.
You heard it here first. Kid Thunder. I feel like maybe he could have a move where he like grabs you and like uses you, like teleports you, kind of like Raiden's move, like gives you a teleport. But that might be too similar to Motaro, who kind of does a similar thing. So.
From full screen, a Superman from behind the opponent, kind of like how Movado does, except instead of colliding, you can pull them out of it with something.
Oh, okay, that would be interesting.
Connect off of it. That'd be neat.
Have like a different maybe instead of like pushing him forward, it pushes it like up, and it's like a launcher that comes from behind. Oh, that might be too strong, but that would be really cool. I was just trying to think about how to make that a little bit more unique, than.
We're just conceptualizing. It's okay for it to be broken in our little hearts.
We'll let NRS balance it. We'll just come up with the ideas,
I look at it as a tag game, and as much as I enjoy tag games, they're stupid. They're broke. I mean, everything I say is going to be broken.
That's true. That is true. Tag games are some of the wildest things I've ever seen. Watching Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3. I remember being at EVO one year watching that. And I'm just like, there is so much going on, and I have no idea what any of it is. It's just crazy.
Dirt on dirt on dirt on dirt. Those games are so grimy.
Well, 100%. So Kid Thunder out of the way. Invincible. Yeah. This is where I would have a really hard time picturing what Invincible would do that's A, effective as a cameo, and B, not the same as Omni-Man. Because, they're both just super strong people who can fly around, right? It's been a while since I've actually watched that show. I did complete, I think, 2 seasons of it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have anything to stand out from Omni-Man other than that he isn't a dickhead.
Fair.
But they could kind of. He could still do the Omni-Man stuff. I mean, we have 2 Kung Laos, 2 Sub-Zeros, and 2 Scorpions. There's I don't think there's anything hurting there. Dad and son team. They could probably make his a little goofier though. They could do something with it. He had a hard time kind of learning to fly, and he was busting his ass. He might have call in like an ambush where he flies in, but it's really clumsy, and he just lands on the opponent and it launches. or it just as a
Oh,
knockdown for for frame advantage or something.
that would be really
Uh,
smart, actually. I would love that.
yeah, just have him crash land to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about maybe having like, instead of it just being invincible, like having a couple different characters from the series that you can have like multiple different kind of pulls, like Adam and Eve and Invincible and that kind of a thing, and just have different abilities for each character, kind of like a triborg kind of effect, you know? That's
It'd be
kind of where
kind of
my
cool if it was the team that Omni Man was with. I can't remember what they're called, but you had like the fish guy, you had the Martian Manhunter guy that wrapped around
Oh
people.
yeah, I forgot
And
about
all of them.
that. That would be
It'd be
cool.
it'd be cool to see like be able to call him in for different things. Like is it the Immortal? Isn't that one of them, the dude with the beard or whatever? Have him come in and like I don't know, Luthez press them to the ground and just start, got him in full guard, just going at their face
I
for like
mean,
a combo ender, or have the rap guy come in and hold on to him for a bit, kind of like a Cyrax net, but maybe without draining the without draining the meter.
drain in the meter, yeah, that would be
Yeah,
too. I don't know. Yeah, it's coming to the point where there's like, what do cameos do that's original? But up until this point, they've been doing a great job of doing just that, keeping them original, keeping them fresh, and not like repeating each other, kind of a thing.
I
I've been
don't
enjoying it.
think I don't. Yeah, me too. I don't think lack of originality would hurt too bad because there's so many things that these characters can do, and there's a ton of Mortal Kombat characters at this point. I think there's over 100 characters at this point.
Yeah, that
Because
sounds
come
right.
because come Armageddon, I think there was like 60 something, and there's still characters we haven't tapped into, like Kai or something like that.
He's mentioned a
And
lot too in like intros and stuff. I've noticed.
like I've heard, well, we couldn't have Kai because Shang Tsung just does Shang Tsung does ground skulls at launch. Okay, well, why can't we have a cameo that does that? We
Yeah,
don't it doesn't necessarily have to be a character. You could pair your Nataro with Kai for relaunch combos and
that's
just
a good point. Like what makes Shang Tsung unique? Just kind of give that to a cameo. So now that your character can kind of have Shang Tsung tools, and that's what that cameo offers. That's an
yeah. I mean,
interesting thought.
there's the sky's the limit with them, honestly. And I mean, I think we have cameos that kind of do what other cameos do, but a little better. Like for a while there, like with back to Darius and Tremor. People stopped messing with Darius because Tremor was just better for Reiko because he did the same thing but better. But now they're kind of like coexisting in this one weird space. There's no reason that something couldn't get worked out down the line to have more utility than this other thing. Or one cameo could just have more utility than the other in one place, and one might have it better than the other, and they're still kind of similar.
That is
But yeah,
true. That
it's
is
all just
true.
a balancing act.
So, okay, so those are ideas for Invincible. We kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, but that's what the Bonehawk podcast is all about.
It's
Tangents.
a podcast. People are just listening to us talk.
So, Blanche. So, obviously, the big one with Blanche. If you don't know who Blanche was a NPC in MKX who you could use to perform a brutality at the end by meeting a certain. I think you had to use 3 interactables on the stage, and then you had to have her be the final hit, and you threw her at them, and she would just pound their face. And basically, it was the Cassie
It's the
Cage
Lucas
tackle
Press.
move. It was hilarious. This just fragile old lady, just grab her, throw them at the opponent. So I feel like the two things that she would have is, A, you just kind of throw her as like a rag doll, it was like a projectile at the opponent, like you would normally in that game. And then
Oh,
secondly, she would have the kind of the grab attack where you throw it at her, and then she does a little pound your face in thing. I think those are the two obvious ones that she should have.
what kind of fresh hell would that be for her?
Oh
To just
man,
know that she's gonna get hucked across the screen every 15 seconds or so.
like you could do like a Shujinko thing where like you like hold the cameo button, and then she comes out and like does that kind of fragile old woman stance, and then you have to like be near her and like use her as a kind of, you never know when you're going to use her type of thing. It's like a
Oh,
like a dummy that you can just toss and huck around.
yeah, I kind of it's it's such a stupid idea, but I got in my mind that like you remember how Trimmer would place a boulder on the ground in MKX?
Yeah.
You call her out, and instead of just throwing her, what if, like, depending on the hit that you threw, like an overhead or a low, it might have a different property in how it launches her?
Oh,
So,
that's
like, what
interesting.
if you hit her with like an overhead or something, she bounces across the ground towards the opponent.
Becomes like a bouncing bomb kind of a thing.
Yeah, you hit her with a high, and she just goes like flying across the screen. I don't know. It's something really stupid.
That
But
would
it
be
could be
really
really
cool though.
funny.
Like having like a cameo on the screen that you can like summon and just like exists on the screen for a bit, and then you kind of choose what to do with. That
I can't imagine what you would really do with her. Because, by the way, I think did she not have two brutalities? Didn't you
there
have
was a
one where
secret
you would, like,
one.
throw her across and like they would just explode when she hit her, or was that something else? Because I
I
know the log had a brutality too.
There was a secret brutality that she had, and I can't remember what the actual requirements were for it. If someone remembers in the comments, let me know. Because yeah, there was one where she like would just punch her face in, but then there was another one too, and I can't remember what the difference was. That's really gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to look that up at some point.
I think she just hits them and they explode. I think that would be something to reach into. You throw her across the screen, she hits the opponent, she explodes, and it sets up a low where they have to block the blood puddle on the ground, or else they'll slip like old Sub-Zero ice puddle.
Or something else, like she explodes and like her head like goes into like an overhead projectile, like kind of lobs itself in the air, so you have to like
Oh my god!
be aware of that kind of thing.
I don't like this cameo.
We're just like,
Poor-
just
this
coming up
poor
with
old woman,
ways
dude.
to brutalize this old woman. This is the
All
mind of
she,
NRS.
all she was doing was buying apples or something, man.
She's
She
just
doesn't
visiting the
deserve all that.
local market with her big ass tiger, whatever the hell that thing was. Do you
Oh
think that's
god, like,
hers? Do you think that's hers, or did she like? Because
I
that could
don't
be a
know.
whole other thing. If like she comes on like a mount, and that thing's like her mount, and she could be
Yeah,
actually kind of terrifying. Going the other way,
considering like how quick she is to pounce on a person and beat their face in, Blanche could be kind of a bad bitch. Like
she could be.
she could be pulling in on her Jaguar. You know, you never know.
They could go the other way too and have like young Blanche, like maybe young Blanche was like a warrior princess kind of a thing, and we just know her as that fragile old woman. But we have
Well, I mean,
young Blanche now who's like freaking Xena warrior princess or some shit.
I want Madame Bo before we get that.
I would agree that Madam. I'm surprised that she hasn't been in the game in some aspect.
Madame Bo's smoke trap setups would be sick because we know she can throw hands. We watched
We've
it
seen it.
before she got thrown off a balcony through a table. She was beating Smoke's ass.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I said this on a previous podcast, but I feel like she would have like smoke setups, kind of like Bo Rachel had fart setups. Like she blows a smoke cloud and it just kind of is on screen for a bit. Maybe similar properties, that kind of a thing.
It'd be so much more tasteful.
It would
drop
be.
drop boiling tea on their heads or something like
That would be cool.
like acid from Aaron Black.
You get the same animation where she just like slowly takes the cap off with her thumb and just like dumps it
Yeah,
on you.
little old lady just dropping boiling hot tea on them.
There were a couple of
Opens
people.
up her Borjong tea.
Don't mess with Madame Bo and her tea. There were a couple of people in the comments on that post saying like, "Where's Madame Bo? Why isn't she playable or whatever?" I think that she was fairly well received. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of like their first kind of venture into this universe, kind of gender bending kind of a thing. I thought she was really well done.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bar was really low. I don't hate Bo Raicho, but I don't particularly care for Bo Raicho. I just after a while, he funny fart man wears off.
Yeah, that's very true. And like his story, like his backstory prior was actually pretty cool, but they didn't do a great job of like explaining it. They kind of just hid it all behind, like you said, fat man farting kind of a thing.
Yeah, like he was an outworlder. He's an outworlder. He's strong like Outworld Warriors, but all you know him for is the man who rips ass and blows chunks everywhere. Like
Couldn't have said it better
Madam
myself.
Madam Bo feels like a teacher. Bo Raicho feels like your drunk uncle that has no manners.
Yes, you nailed that. Perfectly.
Chucky.
Chucky? Okay, so full disclosure here. Not a horror buff. Have never seen a Chucky movie in my life. I'm assuming little doll that has a knife kind of a thing?
He's He's like, if I remember correctly, because I haven't watched Child's Play in forever. I am a horror buff, but Chucky was one that I didn't watch a ton of. If I remember correctly, he was a serial killer before he was turned into a doll. Like his soul manifested within a doll, within like a My Buddy doll.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
so it was an already unhinged, very evil man that took over a doll, and now he is an unhinged, very evil plaything.
Nice. So, how do you do that originally, I guess, would be my question. Like, doll with a knife. I feel like being smaller, I'm assuming he's smaller. Like, I know what he looks
Yeah.
like, obviously. But, like, having, again, a little bit too much similarities to Farah, how do you kind of make him his own? This is kind of the issue I had with Ghostface, too. Like, just like, dude with a knife. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to make that, like, special in Mortal Kombat, you
So
know?
Ghostface, I'm excited for, because Ghostface isn't just one person. So
Right.
there's stuff they could do with that. Like even there's another fighting game called Terrordrome. It's
I
it,
have
it
that
was
game,
like an
actually.
independent fighting game. Yeah. And on there, he has like crazy teleports and stuff where his cloak will fall to the ground and then he'll reappear somewhere else. He is just a dude with a knife, but it's like a bunch of dudes with a knife, depending on the movie. Chucky is just a doll, though. He's just a doll with a knife. Potentially they could do some cool stuff if they could get Tiffany in on it. I think that was her name, his wife.
Oh,
That would
interesting.
be really
Okay.
cool. Because there's the Bride of Chucky too, and it would be cool to see them do stuff together. If they wanted to get really crazy with it, like really, really just balls to the wall crazy with it, they could have like a car come in and run the person over with Chucky in the driver's seat. There is stuff. I'm pretty sure there was. I'm pretty sure he ran someone down one time. But for the most part, yeah, he's just a little guy with a knife. Uh, even with like in Dead by Daylight, that like asymmetrical horror game, he was kind of just a little guy that ran around really fast and stabbed people. Um,
Yeah, that
which I
doesn't.
mean, he doesn't necessarily have to have a knife. I mean, he's he's got other things. He hits people with bats and shit, and just whatever he can find. But I really don't know what they would do with him. It'd just be another small character that choppies and then maybe thuds a little.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like there are Mortal Kombat characters you can put in there to kind of fill that instead of having a guest. I do appreciate why they do guest characters because it does like garner interest from people who may not have played Mortal Kombat to begin with to be like, oh, that's cool. So and so's in this game. Maybe I'll go try it out since it's old now and probably on sale, you know? So like I get that, but from an MK fan, I don't know. I want to see more MK characters, but that's
The
just
most
me.
I could think of is him having grab setups or something like where he could hold somebody down. But again, we have the freezes, we have the net. We're getting another net here soon that carries
Yeah.
you across the screen. Like all I think of is maybe him doing stuff with Tiffany. Like they do like maybe another because he is so tiny. He's such a tiny character. He'd be hard to hit and snuff. Maybe if he was like a Gento, like a Janet or Sinto or
Oh,
something.
maybe. Yeah, they could do
Um,
that. It hasn't been passed. In the past, NRS hasn't shied away from like kind of bending characters a little bit to like their universe kind of thing. So they could do something like that where maybe like Chucky gets a mech suit or something like that. You know,
oh my
they
god.
would have to clear
If we
that,
get
but
if we got Chucky in a mech suit before we got Ellen Ripley as a playable character, I would lose my fucking mind.
that would
We
be
got
on brand.
By the way, NRS, we got the Xenomorph, we got the alien. Give me Ellen Ripley and I want her voiced by Sigourney Weaver. Please.
Oh, that could be a. Well, I don't know. I don't
Put her
know
in the loader. Put her in the loader.
what's Sigourney Weaver doing nowadays. Maybe she's wanting to be relevant again, and this will catapult her back to the top. You know.
I don't know. I mean, she was in Finding Dory. That's the last thing I remember though.
I don't know. I'll have to wiki it later if I still care. I don't really care about her to be honest. But I mean, fans of the series would love to see her. I'm sure.
I mean, absolutely. That was my first celebrity crush.
I miss. See, I'm not a horror buff. I didn't see those ones either. So I'm
You're
so
missing
I
out.
am uncultured swine over here. I am. I don't. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of movies. Or TV shows, but I usually will rewatch ones that I know that I like. Um, I'm watching a series right now called Little Fires Everywhere for the third time because it's just amazing and I love it. I
You're a
watched.
repeat watcher.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I want to watch something that I know that I'll enjoy. I don't want to like feel like I wasted an hour watching something that's like, oh, this sucks. I don't care about this at all because I've done that. It feels
Understandable.
bad. But
I recommend the first Alien movie. I recommend the first Alien movie. Maybe the first three, but it's a little spotty.
I'll watch the first one and I will report to you and tell you how far I made it in before I turned it off.
It's
Because I
mostly
guarantee I
cheese
will.
these days. It's mostly cheese.
It didn't age well, kind of a thing.
I think it did, but just all horror movies as they age just become more cheese than anything.
That's fair. I think Jason went to the moon once. Didn't see that one either. Just heard about it.
Jason did go to space. Every horror villain has to go to space if they've had too long of a run.
Even the Fast and the Furious went to space once, I think.
Hellraiser went to space. It was bad.
All right, we're losing it here. We're
Yeah.
losing it. Let's rail it back in. So, they had an update recently that was huge, but wasn't huge. It was just a few notes, but they were big notes. So, I want to talk about Tremor first because he's the first one that they. This was like a change. This was the Tremor patch. Like Tremor was pretty. I won't say unusable, but there was no reason to use anything outside of his ambush cameo business because of the cooldown was just so bad.
You
And
only see him
now,
once per round.
like a Goro type of a thing, right? Which is too bad because he's a DLC. Like people paid for this character, so it's like,
Like at least Goro, like you could at least summon him twice though. Like if Tremor got one hit, because the first initial press is the setting up for the ambush. I was already half a meter gone.
yeah,
If I
exactly.
remember correctly.
No, you're right. You're right, though.
Yeah,
He
like
uses the
he
whole
just didn't
cameo
do
bar.
anything.
So now he recovers quite a bit faster on his ambush attack, but also on his individual attacks as well. And a little bit of tweaking there, I think, made all the difference for me to have a look at him again. I saw Ketchup and Mustard to take another look at him. I've ran into quite a few Tremors in ranked. He is a fun cameo, but very much like Chameleon, I don't think he's the cameo for me because I don't like managing the variations part of it is just not fun for me. That's just another layer. I like management, but I've always had like my health bar, my super meter bar, and my cameo meter bar. To throw like variations on top of it is a little bit too much. I know that's a little rich coming from like the Shujinko main, but Shujinko he's different. I don't really know how to explain it, but he's different. He's not that. You know how many times I tried to do freaking like a metallic low ball and I get like an unsafe earthquake thing, you know? I don't know.
Like Shingo never really like he changes every match, but like he works basically the same, right? Like if you want to do a combo with him, it's probably down back and cameo button.
Yeah.
And it's a stun or a launcher, a freeze of some sort. It's something along those lines. Shujinko has a rhythm about him that can be somewhat universal, but with Tremor, you're actively changing the character as you play, and he can get hit while you're changing him. So that's something you have to manage. Like something I hit. There were many times during our set last night you were calling Tremor out, and even though I was getting my ass beat, I still hit him just because you wanted to put him in like crystalline or something to use aftershock or whatever. I don't really remember how his rotation works, but
Yeah, so
it's more button presses.
the interesting thing about Tremor, and not everybody knows this, is that you can call him out to switch variations even if he's not like even if you don't even have one like half a bar cameo meter. Like if your cameo meter is like right empty, you can still use him as a meat shield and pull him out to switch variations that get hit by stuff. And I think that's something that makes him really strong. Whether it's intended or not, I don't know, but it's something you can do. So I use that a lot. And he's fun. I think he does mesh really well with Quan. He does a lot of good things. He adds a lot of things. Decent damage, helps with the zoning, and of course, ambush gives Skydrop a full combo. So like, there's lots of good things about him. It's just for me personally, I just don't like. My clutch factor isn't very good. So 100%, I would go to do like an attack that in the last round and be in the wrong variation and die because of it. That's just, I know myself well enough to know that the cameo's not for me. But I'm super happy for everyone that does use Tremor, and I think that we're going to be seeing more of him, and he's not just Reiko's little bitch anymore. He works well with a bunch of different characters.
Yeah,
So-
I was messing around with him a bit before the update because no one was using him. I wanted to try and find a reason to have him. I found some okay stuff with him and Sub. Back when I was playing Subaton, I think I tried to find some stuff with him and Reptile, and there were things, but it wasn't worth it. I kind of want to dive back into him again. I like the thought of swapping variations and stuff. I think it's more fun than just letting it roll through like you would with Chameleon. Uh, which I'm happy. I'm happy Chameleon works that way. When they announced that you would, because originally you were going to be able to like choose how she worked, right? You were going to be able to choose a variation like with Tremor, or there was something about her like that.
Yeah, I do remember that they kind of changed how she works. I don't remember at what point it was, but
like I'm glad that they kind of stuck true to Mortal Kombat 3. I think she was in 3 or Trilogy with her that she does change. But just having to keep an eye on that constantly because she's always changing on her own seems like, I don't know, it seems like too much for me. Tremor feels much more manageable in that way.
I would definitely agree, yeah.
He goes where you want him to go. The biggest issue aside from the cooldown though was a lot of the stuff I found with Sub was like kind of tight timings, like back 3-4 into lava spew and then picking up from there. It was either up lava or straight lava, because it does continue the combos. It's really really nice that it does do that, but the timing for him was really tight. Maybe I try another character and maybe I give Tremor another chance. I'm very excited to see him doing more. I don't. It was bad enough that he was a paid DLC and doing nothing, but it sucks to see a cameo doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I'm going to be playing him for fun to see if like the variation management gets any better. And if it does, then yeah, I'm going to be making content on all that kind of stuff. But these are just my initial impressions. These are my initial impressions that, it's going to be a little bit too time sinky for me for what I kind of want to get out of it, especially since I'm still trying to figure out like Shujinkydink Takeda a little bit. Like that matchup is like, he hits him really, really hard, no matter who you pair him with. But there's still like
all the DLCs really hard.
Yeah, he does, and like I still haven't like figured out how Shujinkydink can take, because he can do like his kunai setups too, where he had like puts one on the ground and then like blows it up afterwards. I haven't even explored that stuff like with Sindel and Shujinkydink.
Gamer. You're not a set play gamer.
I mean, I can't
You don't
be.
do set play. You just throw shit. You run away and throw shit.
That's true.
That's your speciality.
There could be some tech there that would help me with those, run away and throw shit. Maybe it creates a wall and like they're scared to go on that thing because I might blow it up, and I just use that to run away. I don't know. Maybe.
It could be solid. I mean, it sounds like it could be really strong, assuming the Takeda player isn't just jumping all the time. The time jumping.
I mean, that's kind of what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what kind of worries me. Shujinkydink has some stuff that like just doesn't feel like it. In the specific matchup of the person he's fighting, it feels like you're never going to see it because there's no point in it because that character is going to get away from it somehow. Like the kunai, the kunai is for the combo, or like shurikens, whatever they are for the combos, really solid. I'm really excited to see what you come up with for the traps, but I don't know about that one.
Yeah, well,
I think it's him.
I'm in the lab constantly just staring at it, not doing anything, just like, what the heck can I do here? So if I find anything neat, I always report that kind of stuff.
I'm much more curious to see more Tremor Quan. That's fun.
Yeah,
that was a fun set. That was a fun watch.
I was surprised that I did as well as I did last night with it. So I'll be posting some more content. I'm currently house sitting for a friend for the next few days, so I won't be back to uploading regular content till probably Wednesday. So if you're listening and you made it this far, that's why you haven't seen much. But I wasn't missing the podcast. We've done 16 weeks straight. So and thanks to Blue here, we're keeping that going. So more Tremor's coming. Farah though. Farah got...
What's the problem?
Yeah, Farah was a big problem.
A big problem.
A big problem, as we alluded to earlier. So they nerfed her health by 100. Which again, my little tinfoil hat's like, I think it was supposed to be 50 the whole time and someone made a mistake. But maybe not. Maybe they didn't think it was going to be that powerful, and then I saw like everyone complaining. It was like, okay, well maybe we made a mistake here, you know what I'm saying?
I saw General Shao letting his nuts hang, doing whatever he wanted to do.
Exactly. Just get in, just blast in. Don't even use Farah for anything, just the health.
Man, don't need her.
I didn't even see any pain and gain combos with these people. So
No, I still hardly see any of them.
yeah,
People want to keep that health so much they don't want to lose it for the extra buff, which is a shame because it's a solid buff. It's a lot of damage you get for it.
it is. Yeah, 100%. So maybe we'll see some stuff. It's still fairly early as far as like the cycle of things go. One thing that I also like that they changed was that the Farah low is now -10 on block now, so punishable by some characters. I haven't figured out how to punish with Quan yet because
Bad button.
Yeah, just a bit too stubby. Too stubby, can't really reach. The pushback's a little bit too much for him. But I'm sure there are other characters that can take advantage of that. But it kind of made a little bit more of a reprieve to the kind of screw you, here's a 50-50 kind of a thing. So at least you kind of can... People were stealing their turns back after that low because it was so safe. So I'm glad that they changed that.
Given that she's an MKX cameo, I think she deserves to have the 50-50 gameplay of
I
an
would
MKX
agree.
character. But it's nice knowing that, like, it's not any more reactable. But it's if you react to it, you can get a punish if you're at point blank range.
Yeah,
Like
blank
you
range.
you have to be at point blank range, but it's MK1. You should be in their face anyway. This game isn't made for zoners. Quan Chi isn't having a good time.
No, he's crying. He's crying in the Netherrealm right now because he can't throw things at you the whole time.
Yeah, this game isn't made for zoners. You should be right in the person's face at all times. You should get your reactions up. This is coming from someone with no reactions. Get your reactions
just react,
up.
bro. Just like react to it, bro.
Start punishing some shit. That's a full combo punish.
Oh man, I love when people just give advice like that, just blanket advice.
Right?
I don't know what to do about this. I'll just react, bro. Like what? Wow, very helpful. Thank you. Love that.
Guess right, forehead.
Guess right. And to be fair, it sometimes is good advice, but you can always tell when it's being thrown out in lazily or in bad faith, you know.
Yeah, but like she's a lot more manageable now. She is. It's good. It's a good change. It's a really good change. It was needed. No one needs 1250 health.
No, that's greedy.
No one needs safe 50-50s.
Yeah.
Your 50-50s do not all need to be safe. And I'm pretty sure she was safe on everything. Yeah, even the overhead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like her mid launcher was +3. I actually haven't tested that. I don't think they adjusted the frames on that because it's a mid, right? It's not an actual mix-up. But it just hits everywhere, so it's kind of annoying.
If you're going to force someone to guess, there has to be some risk for you. You need to be 50-50ing yourself just as much as you're 50-50ing your opponent. Because if it's a 50-50, someone's guessing.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be able to guess right.
MK in like MKX fashion, say 50-50s is what she was about before. And now it's not exactly unsafe, but like give up your turn. 50-50s is kind of what it feels like.
It's how it should be. This game's slower than MKX, and it should be like that. It should be reactable. MKX is chaos, and we get enough chaos with it being a tag game right now. Technically an assist game. We have enough with it being an assist game. There's already plenty to react to. Fun to blockables, low Lao hat, whatever. We don't. The Farah. In proper fighting game fashion, Farah was the perfect icon for the pay-to-win DLC character.
Yeah, 100%.
And that isn't fixed.
And she's still a strong cameo. Like I still would have her as like a probably top 3 cameo in the game for sure. But she's not like unfun levels of broken anymore. You know, she's just solid and good and has a lot of different things that she can give you. She's very unique as opposed to the other cameos while doing similar-ish things. So she's very well designed.
She should be, I think. Maybe unless we start seeing some crazier stuff, she's about where she should be. It's okay to have characters that are annoying. It's a fighting game. There's always going to be annoying characters. Johnny Cage is still at the top. Like,
yep,
it's okay.
Yeah, he's still top tier. There is one thought that I had. I do kind of like this a little bit, as how they're throwing in like little like I don't know, like components of previous Mortal Kombat games, like Tremor's variations from MKX, Farah's crazy mix-ups from MKX. Like you mentioned,
One for one.
Chameleon like trading out her variations like in Trilogy or whatever, you know, like
Cyrax having Twister Kick.
exactly, like just like throwing out all these little things to all these previous Mortal Kombat games and just making this feel like ultimate Mortal Kombat, you know,
Yeah.
like all over again.
I'm a super casual player. I'm not near as like in the know or like super like a super technical player like a lot of the people in your Discord are or like you are. So for me as a casual, I'm enjoying it. I see nothing but negativity online. Doesn't matter what social media I'm on. I'm having the time of my life with it though. I'm having a good time. I like playing it with friends. So seeing these little throwbacks and these references, I really, really enjoy the game.
I agree with you.
There's like 30 years worth of love in the game, even if it was a broken package on release, and even if we are still looking for new fixes and content that isn't there yet, Warrior Shrine.
Yeah,
Do I think it was worth the money? I think we got screwed on that. But do I think it's fun? Do I think it's enjoyable? And do I think that there's obviously a lot of love in there for previous games in the franchises? Yes, absolutely.
there are a million billion things you could do to shit on this game, and I think we've been there, done that, like time and time again here. But
People
there's no
still play
doubt.
it.
Yeah, I still play it every day. I have a lot of fun playing it. I enjoy Toxic League, and that's
People
just my
shitting
own
on it
thing.
are still playing it because they get their money for shitting on it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, I don't know. It's a fun game at the end of the day. I think they did everything, you know, I'm assuming as best they could. Not bar is low, but who knows? But it's a fun game to play. The gameplay is good. I wish it was a little bit more balanced, but they're very clearly working on that, and they're very clearly working on bringing things up instead of bringing too much down, making little small increments in the down areas. So overall, I'm excited for the future and to see what year 2 holds.
God, I hope it's good. I'm really, really excited for most of this new DLC. The only one I'm not too keen on is the Terminator because the T-1000 or whichever one is the liquid metal guy. Because
Yeah.
I've never watched the Terminator movies. Like I was stoked for RoboCop in MK11. I wasn't so stoked for Arnie. I am stoked for him now because of Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
I hope we actually get Arnold for that. I'm really, really excited to see what year 2 gives us. I'm getting Ghostface. I'm getting Noob, Femsector and Cyrax,
Yeah.
and
That's
Conan. I'm eating good. So
yeah.
here's to a good year 2.
Here's to a good year 2. At this point, we're about 3 weeks away ish, something like that. So we'll see if that this ages well or not. Our excitement. But that brings us to the end. That brings us to the end of another week. Thank you, Blue, for being here. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
You stream on Twitch. You do YouTube. Anything you want to shout out quickly?
I have a YouTube. I don't edit any of my videos, so expect low quality when you come in. It's really just me ranting about retro titles that I enjoy or that I think are important. Here recently, it's been a bunch of Dead Rising speedrunning stuff because the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is just around the corner. So if you want to see someone speedrun a zombie game from 2006, I'm uploading my VODs over on YouTube, and I stream that game currently over on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlueRazRush.
Perfect. I will put both those links in the description down below for anyone who wants to check out and support Blue. Helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to support this channel and you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't because I make new videos almost every single day. #Bonehawks and all that stuff. And we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Hit that fucking like button.
Oh.
Accept your death.